Warning! What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Ladies and gentlemen, dorks and dweebs, nerds of all ages, GeekPod Network Productions is proud to bring to you the most electrifying middle-aged guys in Syracuse, the Doctor, Hugh Allen, the Pod Whore, Paul Showens. Alone, they are single geek beacons in a dark cop drama world. But when the mics go hot, they are GeekPod. God bless me! Welcome to the first installment of The Hard Truth. In this segment, I'm going to explain a few things that should be common knowledge, but after perusing Facebook, obviously they aren't. So let's get started. First up is the First Amendment to the Constitution. I keep seeing everyone invoking their First Amendment rights, or more often saying that their First Amendment rights have been infringed upon. What is the First Amendment? Well, it's your right to free speech, free press, free religion, your right to assemble, and to petition the government. For our example tonight, we're focusing on freedom of speech, since you assholes seem to keep getting it wrong. You can say anything you want, and no one can do a damn thing about it. It's a free country, after all, and you can spout your opinion, and everyone has to just deal with it. That's not how it fucking works. The fucking First Amendment works like this, you fucking morons. The First Amendment guarantees freedom of speech. Freedom of speech gives Americans the right to express themselves without having to worry about government interference. It's the most basic component of freedom of expression. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court often has struggled to determine what types of speech is protected. Legally, material labeled as obscene has historically been excluded from First Amendment protections. For example, but deciding what qualifies as obscene has been problematic. Speech-provoking actions that would harm others, true incitement, and or threats is also not protected. But again, determining what words have qualified as true incitement has been decided on a case-by-case basis. But what does the Constitution actually say about freedom of speech? Well, here is the actual text from our Constitution. Ready, guys? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the rights of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievance. There you have it, guys. 2 sentences specifically telling you it's your protection from the government, not from consequences. Go ahead and say whatever you want. The government won't come and arrest you. That doesn't mean you won't lose your job or get punched in the fucking face. I'm looking at you, Nate. So, to lay it out for you geniuses, when Dr. Hugh says Donald Trump is a wannabe fascist Cheeto who deserves to go to prison, his First Amendment rights protect him from a team of Republican goons busting his door down and dragging him off to prison. But if I were to tweet out that Mike Tyson was a sissy punk bitch, it doesn't protect me from getting my teeth fed to me if he sees me and runs into me in Vegas and knocks my fucking teeth out. Or, as a better example, what if you're a notoriously difficult subpar actress continually spouting cringy conspiracy theory falsehoods and grossly obscene social comparisons? It doesn't get you safe from getting your toxic ass fired from the best gig she could possibly ever have dreamed of getting. That's about all for tonight. Back to your regularly scheduled bullshit. Welcome to GeekPod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
I'm Corbs.
What's happening, guys?
Well, that was fun. Right now, what's happening? My basement may be flooding because I think my washer's leaking, but I had to run up here and start recording the show, so I'll find out later on when we're done.
So at some point you may have an indoor pool.
No, not really. It's only one load of laundry. It's not going to dump that much water down there.
Outstanding.
All right.
So,
You all right, Paul? You all right?
I'm great. I am
Okay.
very good. I feel
Do you
much
mind
better.
expanding? I'd like to know the story behind our little advertisement at the beginning of the show.
Not an advertisement. It may become a new segment.
Okay. Well, I'm just like this whole thing, Nate, you said.
Oh, yeah. He knows who he is.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah,
no,
neither do
he
I.
wouldn't. No.
I'd like to know who Nate is.
Well, the funny thing is, none of us get to know who he is since he unfriended me on Facebook.
Oh, well, I just think it should be story time with Uncle Paul right now.
God, we're gonna run over it if we do.
We're gonna run over what?
Do you have a curfew?
I don't have a curfew, but we are
Okay.
we know how we run into the breaks every time. So the best way I can explain it without getting into any territory that could probably get us all in trouble is he was spouting bullshit on Facebook, and I felt the need as someone who considered him a quote unquote Facebook friend, at least, because I haven't seen the kid in 30 years. We went to high school together. I calmly explained what freedom of speech really means, and he did not take well to it and continued to argue, which I suggested that perhaps maybe he should have paid better attention in our participation in government class back in 1995, and apparently that was the last straw, because then he unfriended me.
I am curious to know what somebody's response to the actual text of the Constitution is. You know, like, how do you refute that argument, or what can you possibly say there?
It's her opinion, and that's protected by our freedom of speech, even though
By government interference. You're right.
Yes, yeah.
Disney doesn't run our government.
Exactly, but they do run their corporation with their own laws, because I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
Ideals. I mean, they have in their contracts.
And contracts is more where I'm going along with it.
What is it called?
Yeah,
values, not a values clause. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Basically,
code of conduct.
We hire you, but if we find out, you're fucking 5-year-olds, then we're going to fire you. You can't keep your job, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
All right.
All right.
So, Corbs, stop fucking 5-year-olds. You're going to lose your job.
I don't have a job.
Then I guess you're all set. Carry on.
That's pretty disturbing, though.
It was his example. I can't point the right way.
Disturbing stuff. When I say disturbing stuff, it's because I want it to seem disturbing. That's
what I like.
That's pretty disturbing.
Oh, I haven't even gotten to the notes I have here yet. So
outstanding. Like I said, I mean, buckle in. We might end up with three commercial breaks again tonight. So let's hop into the beginning of our show. So the Valhalla Minute.
I like that. It's better than what you're playing, because we're all playing the same damn game.
Right.
Well, I had an interesting experience last night. I'm a little, I don't want to say upset, but as you know, I think I mentioned on the show, I try to do with these Assassin's Creed games, I do a celibate playthrough. I'm not hooking up with anybody, don't have any interest in that. I got tricked into actually doing that last night with my character. And when I say tricked, first of all, so far, I've never even seen a romance option. So I know in the old games, there was a little heart next to something when you said it. But I haven't even seen one yet. So when it popped up, I'm far enough away from my TV, I have trouble reading the text anyway. So I didn't catch that it was a heart, because it looked like there was like an arrow through it, or maybe a sword or something. It looked like a sword. I didn't know what it was, but let me give you the background. I'm in Asgard. Without giving too much away, there's a point where you go from Asgard to Jotunheim, and you got the big king shit there in Jotunheim and his daughter. And of course, the frost giants. I mean, this dude's like, I don't know, 30 feet tall or something like that, but his daughter's normal human size. Now, at one point, you're tasked with going to get gifts for him and his daughter, because you have to placate them, because you're trying to get something out of their castle without them knowing. So I gave him his gift. He's like, oh, yeah, because I'd already picked it up, because I went around the map and got everything before I even started the quests. And then I get to the point where I'm in the place where I have to get this thing, and she shows up. And earlier in the game, he said, be careful with my daughter. She's different than the rest of us. And that's true, because she's, for lack of a better term, she's special. maybe autistic, but it even goes a little further than that. She's normal size, but I'll get to what she looks like in a second. So I gave him the gift. There was no, dialogue option for me to fuck a 30-foot tall, 300-year-old ice frost giant thing. So I'm sitting there going through, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" Like, "Oh crap, I'm going to get caught." And then it pops up the thing to give her the gift. I'm like, "Oh, that's why I picked it, or why I had to go get it." So I give her the gift. It forces me into seducing this girl. Now, mind you, once you see her, okay, basically Ubisoft tricked me into having sex with a cross between the Navi and Avatar and Eric Stoltz and Mask. Okay, it's horrifying. And to make that picture even worse, after the cringy dialogue, your character goes in for the kiss, and you're seeing your character from the back. And I'm assuming what they meant is her hand is supposed to come around and cup your head as you're kissing. Her hand comes through my chest, up out of my neck, and curls around my ear. Okay, it was awful. And the next thing, you end up waking up next to this. I mean, she seemed like a nice, slightly autistic but scientific like girl. She was like trying to find a way to stop everything. I had no idea they were going to go there. I feel like I took advantage of her, first of all, because she's clearly not in an adult mindset, and she just looks fucking weird. I think she's not completely frost giant because she's not 10 feet tall. But yeah, I was kind of it bothered me.
I can see that.
Are you still playing as a female?
Yes.
So it was girl on Navi action?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no limit there. I mean, even
no, not at all. I'm just trying to, because since you brought up Asgard, Corbs and I were both tricked into going to Asgard this week as well, by the In Dreams quest after Volca. After you make the house for Volca in your settlement.
Yep.
I didn't know. Potion. Yeah. I didn't know that's what we were doing. I thought we were going to get another cutscene of me tripping. And next thing I know, I'm in fucking Asgard, and I'm like, wait, what? So I got out of there pretty quick. I completed the first part of the first quest, and
yeah, me too.
Where you have to shut the gate when they're coming across the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah. That, and then when I started into the one where you have to find this stuff in the well or whatever, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, I kept looking for a while, and I couldn't find it. My son was sitting behind me going, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I got no clue.
I found the well. I just couldn't figure out how to make it do anything. Like, I know you have to zap the lights around.
Yes, and that's tricky because it's not super clear. You know what you're missing? Just as you come into that chamber where you can see it all, there's a fucking prism above your head. When you're on the other side of the room, you can't tell that's what it is, but you have that split.
So that's what you have to hit. Okay.
Yeah, that splits the beams into right and left beams, and that, because otherwise you're trying to figure out there's no way for you to hit two targets with one beam. That's it. I mean, I fucked around with it for quite a while too, and once I realized that that's what that was, it was easy.
Okay, that makes more sense.
All right.
So we got new content this week with the update. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Did you try
something like that?
I did. It seemed exceptionally easy.
Well, did you just do one village and then go back, or did you?
No,
keep going?
I went until the dude said, "Okay, I think that's enough. We're done."
Okay.
I think it was 3 or 4 of them.
Well, I guess it's going to get harder as you go.
I'm sure, because then it alerts people. Yeah.
I'm glad they gave us something that is something repeatable that you can continue to do. I don't know how much longevity that really has. It's kind of like a side mode. I don't think people are going to spend years unlocking the secrets of River Raid, but you know what? They gave us something for free.
Right.
So I'm not going to complain about it. And they could certainly, I mean, I guess the armor that you can win in that isn't anything super special. It's just like a reskin of an existing armor. But again, they didn't have to give us this content.
Right.
We didn't pay anything. We didn't buy the season pass. All they have to do is fix the game. So this is something extra.
Have you guys had the game crash on you?
A couple of times.
Okay, so it's happened to me twice now too.
I haven't had any crashes since everything started working again. But you remember, I had a hell of a time when I first got it.
Yes, when you had the save issue and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've had it crash twice on me in a week's time now.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that I was out of space on my hard drive on my PlayStation, so I had to expand my memory.
How the fuck did you end up out of space?
Because I had a bunch of the free downloadable games and stuff. The monthly games, I was downloading a bunch of shit, and I've got all the games I've been buying. I would load them up, and so I moved stuff off onto my 4 terabyte drive.
You can you don't have to download the monthly games. As long as you add it to your library, it stays in your library.
Oh, okay. No, I was going through and actually downloading all of them.
No, not necessary. Just make sure you go through it where it says add to library, and then you can download it anytime, as long as you are still a PlayStation Plus subscriber. And if you lapse, and then restart it, as long as you're under the same gamer tag, you're still fine.
Okay, cool. Because that was going to be my question: is if it lapses by a month or something, do I lose all of that? And clearly, that is not the case. Cool. So any other business with Valhalla?
No.
You haven't really said anything about it yet, Corbs.
Well, I've been playing a lot this past week. I got to a Paul. I think I'm at like a 79 power or something like that. Somewhere like that. I just started doing Sigurds, whatever his name is. I just met him up in that one spot way up in the north of the map.
Yep.
Then you got to go to like the very south of the map, following him. I'm like, you got to raid the one village. But my issue is some of these villages, like I've been raiding some of these villages before you're supposed to.
Yeah.
So I just like he said, "Oh, go raid this village." I'm like, I already did all of that, and I already got everything out of there. So sometimes I show up and I walk in and it says it, and then I leave and go back to wherever I was, and the quest is over. So that's what I've been finding out. But some of the stuff I've had a hard time locating, some of the treasures and stuff like that, trying to figure out like where to go to get them and stuff like that, and stuff to do. So, but
there are some treasures that are going to be behind doors that are unlocked by quests. So there are, like I go through and I clean out each region as I go, but there are some regions where I still have outstanding things because I can't do them until I get to it.
Right.
Okay, that stands to reason. And there was one of them in the one that I'm on right now. I didn't play much today because my son's been sick, so I've been taking care of him. And Mom and I caught up on a few TV shows today, so I didn't get a chance to play. But I played for, I want to say, a good 3 or 4 hours yesterday. I mean, I played for a long time yesterday, but I would play for like an hour or so, and then I'd stop, and then I'd do something else, and then I'd come back and I'd play for a little while. But last night I played for a while. So, but there's the one where you get the spear where when you're trying to find, is it Bugard, the king?
Yes.
Have you found? Did you find him yet or whatever?
Did you get? I finished that one.
You did that one, okay? Because I raided that village at first and got the spear out of there, but then I was trying to get. There was a piece of gold, like a gold suit or whatever. That obviously you've got to wait till there's a guy that you have to kill to get it, and he wasn't there. And I kept looking. I spent like 10 minutes looking around for this guy. I'm like, he's not fucking here. So I just laughed. I'm like, I figured out another point, but then I realized I went online and looked, and it said that there's a knight or something that you have to fight that's there, and obviously he must come in when you go back looking for Booger. Yeah, for Booger. Yeah. So yeah, I'm there right now. So
I'll tell you, you guys both, when you get to Jotunheim and you have to do the rock puzzle, I suggest you look up a solution because holy Christ, is that hard. I did find
one of the anomalies.
Aren't those cool?
Yeah, we had to this one you had to jump up a bunch of it's basically computer blocks.
Yeah, you're going all do.
Yeah. And you have to turn the prisms to light up the blocks to jump across, stuff like that. So I did that one and I found that one. So that was pretty cool what you were talking about, that stuff. That was nice. That was cool. So
I haven't gotten there yet.
It's a place. I want to say is it just south of Ravenwood? Maybe
there's multiple ones. So
yeah,
place.
I think this one was. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was. I found it, and when I originally showed up on there, they're like, "Oh, this place is haunted," and I'm like, "What do you mean it's haunted?" So I just turned around and ran away, and I'm like, "That's weird." So I finally went back there at one point. I'm gonna go check this one out again, and I went there, and it was, "Oh, this is a weird anomaly." And there's a thing in the middle that's like flickering.
Glitching. Yeah, it's like a glitch in the Matrix.
And you touch it, and you revert back to the girl that's playing, that's doing the, I can't remember what the hell it's
Layla.
called. Yeah. So you play as her to go through it, and then when you get through it, you switch back to your character. So that was pretty cool. So that's the one thing that I saw that this time around that was pretty cool. So
nice. No, I haven't gotten to that yet. I thought it was starting to glitch when I was doing the river raid, because I swiveled the camera around and it looked all like prismy behind me. But I figured that was just
the world boundary. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm still digging this. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Well,
Playing a lot. I'm playing at least an hour a night.
Wow.
Like every night. Yeah. I have a wolf.
How'd you get a wolf?
I did a quest for Petra, the huntress quest. And when we finished I'm sorry, it was the one where the little bastard kids lied to me. I was in the longhouse and this kid comes running up to me saying that the other kids were in trouble. Yeah. And then we finished the quest and the wolf followed me home.
Oh, that one. But he stays there. You can
in my room. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about that. Apparently there's a rideable wolf in the game.
Oh, I wasn't that like a
pre-order?
Yes. Pre-order unlock. Yeah. No, not that one. But I saw it in the village, and then I went and did my stuff, and then I walked back into my room just for the hell of it. And, oh, look, there's a wolf. And so yeah, I have a wolf. Did you got to get your wolf? You got to wait until the little kid lies to you. I won't tell you any more about that quest line, Corbs.
All right. Well, when kid lies to me, I'm gonna have to kill him. So
no, it doesn't let you. I tried.
So Paul, have you done all of Sigurd's, the quest and all that stuff? And I know you and I were talking that you were doing it, and then you're like, I gotta get out, I gotta get away from this and whatnot.
I finished that quest line with where you install the new king.
Oh.
And now I've moved on to the next one, wherever Sigurd is this time, where he moved on to the next one. So I went back and I'm going to be following him to the next one. Okay. But I took a couple days to just go do other shit.
Yeah. Okay.
To get the town in order. I'm almost to level 4 of the town.
Yeah, me too.
I think one more building.
I kind of did the reverse. I did that stuff first, like the raids, and got all the materials first, and started doing that. And then I was like, all right, well, I got to start doing some of these things. My quest started building up, and I'm like 6 or 7 quests in there that you happen to random on and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, like the one with you, and I ended up in Asgard. And I'm like, okay, well, I was talking, and he was like, well, you can be here, but you really shouldn't be here right now. And I was like, okay, well, I got to figure out how to get out of here.
Yeah, that I had to Google it to figure out how to get out because it wasn't immediately.
To be honest with you, I just opened the map, and it said, wake up.
Yeah, I missed that part. I missed the icon up in the upper left-hand corner. Like I had to Google it to figure that out. Well, it looks like
I was like, oh shit, I can just click on that and wake up, and next thing you know, I was back in Ravenwood. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, I think Asgard is suggested level 90, and Jotunheim is suggested level 160. I think it was last night or the night before. I was going around cleaning up stuff in Jotunheim, and there's a mythical creature fight. It's like a bear made out of stone or some shit, and it's like power is like 380. It's like still 150 above me, and I still killed it. But man, it's tough. I think you really, you're going to need to be much higher to take that on. I think I got lucky though, because I just kind of stumbled into its feet and was able to I took a lot off it without it hitting me, and then it would do ice walls and shit. But after it hit me twice, it was like it couldn't hit me again for a few minutes, so I'd keep hitting it, and then it would hit. Yeah, it was. I think maybe it glitched, and I got lucky.
That's a good glitch.
Still might have been able to beat it, but yeah, that's a challenge right there. If you're because what I did is you come out of its cave and there's a drop off, and I dropped down right underneath it when I first saw it, so I never had to fight it at a distance. I think if you were fighting it at a distance, it might be a lot more difficult.
Okay.
All right, then moving on.
All right, moving on, guys. What's got you geeked?
Well, I'm excited about tomorrow. My mother-in-law's 73rd birthday was this week, and we're going to be celebrating tomorrow. And the nice thing about my mother-in-law turning 73 is that I don't have to cook tomorrow because my wife always makes her birthday dinner. and a cake. So she's making a big yummy cake, some chocolate maple thing that caramel thing that my mother-in-law wanted. And we're doing. She likes Middle Eastern food, so my wife is making grape leaves. Do you know what grape leaves are?
I don't.
Are they as self-explanatory as they sound?
No.
Okay.
You have to buy grape leaves in a jar. They're all tightly packed in oil, but it's literal grape leaves. Like imagine like a fucking big tree leaf,
Mhm.
but it's been soaked in oil. And you make a mixture of rice and beef and spices. And we have a roller for it. You have to roll these either by hand or with a roller. So you have to do each one individually. So we have to roll 100 grape leaves tomorrow because they come out. They're like this big. They're not
Okay.
very big. But then you steam them in the pressure cooker for a little
Nice.
while, and the leaves soften up. The meat cooks. The rice cooks. It's delicious. And we're also doing chicken. So today I took about 6 pounds of chicken thighs and I made a marinade of Greek yogurt, lemon juice and zest, a ton of garlic, fresh oregano and fresh parsley, a ton of it, which, you think oregano is very strong, especially when it's dried, but in certain things, like a ton of fresh oregano is actually really good. I don't think it tastes anything like the dried spice. But got 2 bags of that all marinating in the fridge, ready to go on the grill tomorrow. And I have 2 big slabs of bacon that'll be done curing. They're probably done curing now, so those will be going to the smoker tomorrow morning. And I have I got my knife finally. I ordered a slicing knife, so it's like a 14-inch knife. It's like a mini sword, but it's specifically it's a carving knife for meat. So excited about that. Can't wait to really put it through its paces. And I'm gonna give my mother-in-law, a pound of bacon tomorrow because she
Nice.
liked it. So that's what I'm excited about.
Nice.
Corbs,
That's me.
what's got you geeked?
Pitchers and catchers reporting.
Oh,
Baseball.
I thought
And I was thinking the Ren and Stimpy thing. I'm the pitcher, you're the catcher.
We were over this. Paul's the pitcher.
we're not reusing that title.
No, that's it. Just baseball is coming back around. So hopefully this year we have more than 60 games or whatever.
Yeah,
that was.
half a season basically. Well, no.
It was less than half a season.
Yeah, third.
Third of the season. So I think they're going to delay it a little bit. I do think they'll delay a little bit, but it won't be like that last year where they started in end of July and stuff like that. I think you'll see they'll probably start mid-May or something like that. I do think they're gonna hold off a little bit just to see what's going on and make sure everybody gets the shot.
Right. Okay. So what's what?
Sorry, that's it for me.
Okay.
I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but
It'll probably be a trend. We'll get it worked out. So what's got me geeked is did you guys see the Mortal Kombat trailer?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I saw it.
You're nodding down there. Are you as jazzed about it as I am? Like I saw it and it actually looks fucking cool. Like I can't wait for this to come out.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually excited about that. I mean, obviously from seeing the original Mortal Kombat.
God, it's definitely got to be an improvement.
Yeah,
Those were good for the time, though.
They
We
were
loved
cheesy
that.
even then. I
Come on.
remember it. Yes, I
You
remember.
had that song stuck in your head for weeks.
Weeks, years. You still have the song, and if they don't use that song in the new movie, there's a problem. Like that song is like that. That's Mortal Kombat. You have to have that.
yeah.
But I won't get into specifics then. The show notes will have a link to it for YouTube because I've already gone ahead and done the show notes, so I actually have the links and I'm not lying this season. So check it out when you get a chance, Hugh. Let us know what you think of it. The rest of you guys that actually listen, check it out from the show notes and again, tell us what you think.
I could watch it right now, Paul.
You could, but we're recording.
Oh, come on. We can make this work, can't we? You guys talk. I'll put you on mute and watch it. You can make fun of my facial expressions.
Or we can cut to break and you can watch it on the break and let
Okay,
us
that
know.
works. That works.
All right. When we come back, we're going to go right into the news or his review of the the trailer. Either way, whatever he wants to do. All right. We'll be back.
All right.
The 4th annual Sci-Fi Horror Fest is coming with an all-new location, new celebrity guests, and more to enjoy. Sci-Fi Horror Fest has a new home for 2021 at the Vernon Downs Casino and Hotel in Vernon, New York. Sci-Fi Horror Fest will be held on August 27th and 28th. Sci-Fi Horror Fest is a family-friendly event featuring exciting guests including CJ Graham and Loren Malloy, as well as fun activities, vendors, and a media area with an eclectic group of podcast personalities. More guest announcements will be announced soon. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to www.sci-fihorrorfest.com. That's www.sci-fihorrorfest.com. Sci-Fi Horror Fest is currently looking for volunteers. This is your chance to be part of the fun. Please note, dates and details of the event are subject to change due to any lasting issues due to COVID-19.
And we are back, and I did watch that trailer. Now, Paul, you are wrong about one thing. They did use the music. When the words Mortal Kombat are on the screen, it's very subtle, but it is the same notes. Go back and watch it. It is.
I'm going to have to.
It's not recognizable like you're thinking, but the theme is there.
Good.
So go check it out. You know how there's a guy in there who isn't wearing a mask who's using a spear? Like a spear on a rope, you know, they show him fighting some guys. I love that actor. I think his name's Kerry something or other. He is awesome. So I'm sold just on him being in this movie. I want to see it now. So, but yeah, that was great. Certainly seems like it's maybe a more realistic take on things. The one thing that occurred to me while watching it is I get that Mortal Kombat is a video game about a tournament, but you could actually adapt the idea without there having to be some tournament, because that's the weird thing. Okay. I am some big badass from another dimension. I want to take over puny Earth, but I throw a tournament to do it. I mean, it would be better if he was invading and then our Mortal Kombat people had to try to fight and stop them. But the idea that anybody's going to stick to the rules of the tournament is ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure in the games, he doesn't stick to the rules. That's why there's that many fucking games. They beat him. Right. He keeps coming back and cheating. So I guess, I wonder if it even occurred to them that they did not have to stick to that particular idea and still make an adaptation. I don't know. That's just my thought. Before we get into the news, though, I wanted to bring up something that I called Breaking Kevin Smith. Now, I sent Paul a link last night from 4chan, and if you aren't aware of this, what I'm assuming must be a group of alt-right people, maybe not, but that's my assumption. They have decided on their next target, and they are pushing a whole meme and idea that Kevin Smith is a racist. Now, to get an idea of how this works, okay, you are somebody on the right who wants to demonize someone on the left. So you start pushing an idea that people on the left would hate because they don't know that you've got you drive around in a replica of the Dukes of Hazzard car. Okay. You're just a random person on the internet. That's 4chan is. Everyone's anonymous on 4chan. You push it enough, people start to pick up on it. And then if the media picks up on it, all of a sudden Kevin Smith is a racist. And it doesn't matter if it's based in fact or not. In our age now, if you get accused of something, you have to apologize for it, whether you did it or not. And your career still might be over. So the reason I know this is being pushed hard is normally on 4chan, if you don't know how 4chan works, it's kind of like a message board like Reddit, but everything's anonymous. And when a thread hits a certain number of replies, I think it's 200, it's immediately completely deleted. And usually if you'll find some people will post a topic, it'll hit the limit, and then they'll post it again, and they'll just keep posting it. Last night, I believe there were 4 concurrent Kevin Smith is a racist threads going on. Which means somebody is pushing this narrative really hard. And they're saying that he's a racist because he doesn't cast enough people of color in his movies. Somebody made a claim, which I have not been able to confirm, that if you add up all of the dialogue of people of color in all of his movies, it comes to less than an hour. And that could potentially be correct.
And that really could be. I mean, not that I'm buying any of this shit after the link you sent me. But I mean, that could be a huge flag because he is a wordy motherfucker.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I don't know. I wanted to see what you thought about it because you kind of looked through it, and it's definitely some grade A craziness. But do you think any of the arguments have merit? Why doesn't he cast more people of color in his movies?
The best one that jumped out to me that made sense is he writes what he knows. And he grew up in suburban New Jersey. Like, Red Bank is the whitest of the white towns. Like, the Atlantic Highlands is middle class to affluent families, a lot of which are commuting into New York.
Yeah.
Like, that's, aside from Ming Chen, I'm pretty sure that whole town is white people. So, and starting back in the 90s, I mean, again, he was a 20-something-year-old kid. You write what you know. And that's what he planned to do. That's what he talks about openly about Clerks, is he wrote a movie that symbolized him and his friends, which were a bunch of white kids working in convenience stores.
Now, this brings up an interesting dichotomy that I was thinking about. Okay. If you don't cast diverse and write diverse, you're racist.
Right.
If you do write diverse, but you're a white guy, you're culturally appropriating.
Or
it
pandering.
Almost seems, or pandering. Now, I want to put the question to both of you, especially you, Corbs, as well, because you're a big movie buff. Does a movie or television maker, somebody who makes lots of content, is there any moral imperative for them to diversely cast and diversely write? Is it up to them? Are they the gatekeepers? And if they don't do that, is that something that society can get mad at them about? It's a good one, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, is it their responsibility? I mean, it's one thing if they're saying, no, I don't want any black people, but I'm saying legitimately has nothing to do with that. You're fine with black people or whatever. Do you have, I mean, is there is pressure, but I mean, do you have to do that? Are you required to do that in this day and age?
I think in this day and age, you're not required to do it, but you're looked down upon if you don't do it.
That was going to be my answer as well.
Because I mean, you think about some of the shows. I mean, I always go back to Sons of Anarchy. I mean, it's a motorcycle club, and they're they're basically all, I guess they're mainly Irish background. I mean, they have ties in Ireland and stuff like that. So, it's a TV show about a white biker club.
Which it did have almost a racist history. They hinted at that.
Yeah, they did.
Because that's why it was such a big deal when Happy got patched in, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting, I wonder if Sons of Anarchy came out today, if people would be angry. It doesn't matter if they're a white racist bike gang, there needs to be representation. Because I feel like our left crazy has actually gone that far.
But there is representation in that show because and it's not a happy intermingling, but you do have a Mexican biker gang, like a Latin biker gang, and then there was a black biker gang.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the show, so I apologize for not knowing that.
Well, their biggest rival was the Latin gang, the Mayans, which now has their own TV show and stuff. So, but then there was a black biker gang. They weren't real prevalent in the show. I mean, A couple of times they used them here and there, and then obviously at the end when TC was his name,
bald guy, mustache, the leader of the black biker gang
gets patched into the Suns. That's at Jax's request. He decides that bylaw needs to be abolished, and they need to be able to have colored people, Afro-American members of their biker gang. That was his last act as president, was to abolish that bylaw.
Right, and then they patched in the whole group, didn't they? That's right. I forgot about that.
They patched him, and I believe he had the rest of them patched in too. Yes, they did a patch over.
Yes,
but he's actually a member.
Number two.
He was actually a member of the club. They got patched over.
Right.
See, there'd be a problem with that storyline too, because a white guy allowing black people in would be white savior complex. So
yes,
right.
I don't think you can do anything. We're all going to hell. But what's interesting? This story does kind of lead into the news. Now, Paul, is there anything else you'd like to say about breaking Kevin Smith at this point?
Just that was my first experience with 4chan, and that is just some bad shit, crazy stuff there.
Dude, you totally should download the app and seriously. I mean, that's how I know what's going on all the time, or what's about to seep into mainstream and things like that. Because it's like that's where all, like I've said it before. If Reddit's the asshole of the internet, 4chan is the colon, and there's probably even worse places. But I can't find an app for my phone for that, and I don't want to get arrested, so I'm
Right.
not looking to find anything illegal. I just, this is where the seeds of bullshit germinate, and I like knowing what's coming.
Right.
Anyway, moving into the news now. You know what? Our first thing tonight, I knew that there was rumblings that this was going to happen without any details, and I really was looking forward to being able to pull one of the great storylines from this comic book series and use that as a title. And I was hoping I could say, first up, rake at the gates of hell. Unfortunately, I can't do that. So first up, ho at the gates of Costco. I can't say gates tonight. I keep saying gays. What the fuck? First up, ho at the gates of Costco. HBO Max announced they are making a Constantine show, and this is based on the comic book Hellblazer. This is going to be the third adaptation of Hellblazer. It's apparently going to be very dark, which is kind of strange because Hellblazer is pretty fucking dark to begin with, and the movie and the NBC TV show were also pretty dark. J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot is developing, and Guy Bolton is writing. Now, there's some things that I'm really concerned about here. They say the character is set to be cast as a diverse lead from London rather than Liverpool. Okay. Everybody knows that, I am as open and accepting and all for diversity as they come. This bothers the shit out of me, and I'll tell you why. We've talked about, recasting James Bond. And, we've kind of talked about the arguments that, James Bond, he's always been a character like this. But here's the thing. James Bond has been played by a white guy for fucking 70 years or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been an accurate adaptation of Constantine yet. And let me clarify that. The original movie starring Keanu Reeves was a great fucking movie, and that's how I was introduced to the character. But Keanu Reeves does not look, a guy with dark hair from America. I mean, it's a loose adaptation, okay? Then comes along the Constantine TV show and Matt Ryan's portrayal on all of the CW shows. Fucking balls on Constantine. That is exactly who the character is, but he's always been chained by the fact that it's a regular TV show. Okay, the Hellblazer comic is fucking dark as shit, nasty, lots of F-bombs. And it's never been adapted properly. And when I heard HBO was going to be doing this, I was like, fucking finally, even if they didn't use Matt Ryan, which I really wanted him to, but even if they didn't, at least we can get a faithful adaptation of the show. And that's not what we're going to get now. Now, this diverse lead, it may be fantastic. It may be a great show, but in my heart, I'm going to be missing the scousy, white, frazzle-haired John Constantine in his trench coat, waking up hungover. It's not going to feel right because we've never seen it. If we'd seen it and then the show went off and then years down the road, they wanted to reboot it and wanted to do the whole gender swap and race swap and all that, I would have been all for it. I'm just upset that we've never actually seen it done properly.
I don't disagree with you on that at all. When I read the same article, I cringed. I'm like, and I don't want to be that comic book nerd that's like, well, it doesn't need to divert from the source material, but it doesn't. Like, that's who Constantine is. He was modeled after Sting, was he not?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
He's modeled after Sting. The character is bisexual, so you already have diversity there.
Yes.
And it's again, if it had been adapted really well at least once, then it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But this is the first time it's been adapted on a platform that could actually do the source material justice, and they're not even starting there. So, I mean, I don't care if we got a show about Joan Constantine, but it just seems like a lot of it's going to be lost. I mean, the character himself, a liar, a womanizer, he's not a hero. A lot of those traits, yes, a woman can be a manizer. What the fuck is the word for that? I don't even know. They can have those same qualities, but I don't think it's not going to play the same way.
No,
I don't think it's possible. I don't think you can't get the core of that character the same way. I mean, different color skin, yes. Different sex. I don't see how that works. But I could be proved wrong. Who knows? Next up, Latina Heat Vision. See what I did there? All right, for the wrestling fans. Young and restless star Sasha Calle has beaten 400 other actresses to win the role of Supergirl in the upcoming Flash movie. Hopefully, she learns some moves to protect herself from her co-star Ezra Miller, who has a habit of wrecking his female fans. She will be the first Colombian/Latina actress in the role. Now, again, we're going right back to diversity. I am super excited about this. You know what? It was always silly to think that an advanced place like Krypton would only have white people. And if you saw the Krypton TV series, they definitely had some other colors there. So I'm excited about this. There's no reason that Supergirl couldn't be, Latin looking, or, I hope I'm using the right word there. I actually pulled that word from the article. So if I get in trouble, I can point a finger at them. Because everything's always so sensitive. And finally, shipping, but not like that, guys. God, don't be dirty. John Wesley Shipp, the original Flash from the Flash TV show from back in the 90s, will be appearing in Stargirl Season 2. Have either of you watched Stargirl?
Yes, fantastic show.
Awesome show. They will establish Golden Age Flash as a member of the Justice Society, and I think that's perfect because, if I'm not mistaken, isn't he a member of the Justice Society?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. So it was kind of his omission in that show was kind of odd. This is going to tie it to the CW verse a little bit more tightly, and I'm just excited for that guy to get more work. I mean, he was awesome. That was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Well, you do know that he's been on the Flash CW show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Okay.
I've watched all of those shows. So
okay, good. You're referencing like you missed that part. So I was
not at all. I'm excited to see him continuing to get more work, I should say.
Agreed.
Based off that one show that he did back in the 90s that got canceled and he thought would never come up again. Because the guy's a great actor. And that's the news, kids. Now I need to buy myself an expensive round trip ticket to Cancun just to drop my family off and then come back like you do. Paul?
In other news, it is illegal to mispronounce Arkansas while in the state of Arkansas. Back to you, Corbs.
The hell is that? Got me running scared. All right, so the movie obviously I'm doing is Running Scared, starring Gregory Hines, Billy Crystal, and a young Jimmy Smits. It was released in 1986. Basically, Ray and Danny, Gregory Hines, Ray Hughes, and Billy Crystal is Danny, and I can't pronounce his last name. It's very Italian. We won't go into that.
Aiello?
What's that?
Aiello, A-I-E-L-L.
No. No, it starts with a C. There are two Chicago police detectives out on the trail of drug kingpin Julio Gonzalez, played by Jimmy Smits. They do manage to get him in a drug bust, but it's very messy, and they have to be rescued by two undercover cops. After which they're both suspended, and then they go on vacation in Key West, Florida. While there, they decide to retire from the police force, and everybody knows that police officers like to drink, so they decide to open a bar down in Key West.
Not a bad plan.
What's that?
I said not a bad plan.
No, it's not a bad plan. Not this time of the year though, or this millennium decade quarantine. So when they return,
hold on, Corpse. I'm bothered by the name Julio Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
What year did this movie come out?
1986.
Okay. I mean, does anyone else feel when they're casting, yes, a bad guy or a crime lord or whatever, they just took some dice, they wrote all the Spanish names they knew and a few names of like dishes they get at the Mexican restaurant and roll it? I mean, why can't it be Reggie Gonzalez? Why is it got to be Julio? Jesus Christ.
Very good.
Sorry there. Didn't mean to derail you.
No, that's right.
Rubber, man.
So when they return to Chicago, they're informed by their captain. They inform the captain of their intentions to retire. They also find out at that point that Julio has been released from prison on bail. They're very upset about this. They decide that they are going to capture Gonzalez before retiring. When they decide to retire, their captain brings in two guys to replace them. Turns out that the two guys he brings in are the two guys from the undercover sting that rescued them. So they obviously don't get along to start. The chief wants the two replacements to be the best of the worst, meaning he wants them to understand what these guys do, but never do anything that they do. That climax scene, Gonzalez kidnaps Danny's ex-wife Annie, who he is in love with and wants to reconcile with. He says that he will trade her for the drugs that Danny and Ray had confiscated coming in from Colombia. Danny does agree to this. During the fight, Danny and Ray rescue the two officers that they're training, rescue his ex-wife, and kill Gonzalez. In the meantime, at the end, they decide that they are not going to retire after all, which was supposed to lead into a sequel. They could never get it done, and now they'll never get it done with Gregory Hines passing away many, many years ago. So, it's quick. This movie, to me, it's funny. It's an action movie. Some good lines in it. Some lines that I still use to this day.
When your wife gets kidnapped by Burrito Taquito?
Yeah. Exactly. It's a funny movie, action movie. It's long line of the buddy cop movie series from the early 80s and 90s, talking 48 Hours, Lethal Weapon series, Rush Hour, all those kind of fed off of this movie. So in my mind, it is a classic. I do enjoy it. I watch it whenever it's on. Matter of fact, my mom absolutely loves this movie. She loves Gregory Hines in it. So I actually have it DVR'd, so I watch it.
She seems to love all the movies you like.
Well, we do like the same movies. Of course, she doesn't like all the movies I like, but the older movies we like. We like Major League, Running Scared. Matter of fact, she likes Apollo 13, which I don't think is a bad movie. I don't watch it as much as she does. Stuff like that. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars.
Nice.
As I did like
rated.
it. I did like it. I do like it. Again, it's one of those movies when it's on, I stop and watch it. So that's what I got. I ain't got much.
I'm just imagining you walking through the living room, turning, seeing that a movie you like is on, just stopping and falling over onto the couch and like laying there watching it until the movie.
I've done that.
Okay. I figured you had.
I've done that, or I jump in the recliner. Throw it up.
If I did that, I would break the recliner.
No, don't jump. Look, I'm not fat.
Like Cannonball?
No, not Cannonball. I just rock back a little bit. Those guys do get it up on the hind legs of it, and then it falls back down. We're good.
Man, speaking of furniture, I had an interesting furniture experience I should talk about later after the segment.
Okay.
All right.
So let's see what my good friend Roger Ebert had to say about Running Scared from 1986. He gives it 3 stars.
He sucks.
He's dead, dude.
Still sucks.
Running Scared is yet another movie about street smart cops who are best buddies wisecracking their way through one hair-raising situation after another. This genre is so overpopulated that it hardly seems like we need one more example. And yet Running Scared transcends its dreary roots and turns out to be a lot of fun. Most of the fun comes from the relationship between the two cops, who are played by Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal, as if they were both successfully stealing the picture. The movie takes place in the middle of a cold, gray Chicago winter, which is made all the colder and the grayer by the hilariously inept use of fake movie snow. Considering how many vertical surfaces are plastered with snow in this movie, while the ground remains clear, Chicago must be the only city in which the snow falls from Oak Park instead of from the sky. Slogging through the grim, mean alleyways, Hines and Crystal stumble across a major drug ring. Their good luck starts with an encounter with Snake, played by Joe Pantoliano, a 2-bit hood who has $50,000 in his briefcase. They want to arrest Snake, but don't have anything to charge him with. So, in a brilliant scene, they convince Snake to request arrest. Crystal loudly tells the neighborhood hoods that Pantoliano is carrying 50 grand and requests them to keep an eye out for suspicious perpetrators. The movie unfolds in the usual ways. A criminal mastermind vows to kill the two cops, a commanding officer balls them out and orders them to go on vacation, and a couple of friendly women warm the winter nights. As stories go, nothing in Running Scared is very original. But Crystal and Hines, in the screenplay by Gary DeVore and Jimmy Houston, don't need a plot because they have so much good dialogue and such a great screen relationship. The intelligence and wit flowing between them are so palpable, you can almost see them. And so see them, and there and so many throwaway lines that even the bit players get some good ones. The movie was directed by one-time Chicagoan Peter Hyams, who can claim the distinction of using two spectacular locations. There is a chase on the L tracks and an acrobatic shootout inside the State of Illinois Center. The original twist with the L chase is that the chase vehicles are cars, not trains. Crystal and Hines pursue a Cadillac limo in their yellow cab. It sounds like a great chase, but it's curiously anticlimactic, maybe because we get mostly point-of-view shots from the two cars. I kept waiting for at least one shot from ground level showing bystanders doing double takes as the yellow cab zooms past on the L, but the shot is missing, an oversight for which the chase coordinator should be punished by being made to work on the next 3 Cannonball Run movies. The State of Illinois Center sequence is something else. Hines lowers himself on a cable down through the vast rotunda from the ceiling while firing a machine gun, and we reflect that the true test of architecture is its versatility. But even here, oddly enough, the action pales just a little because it is so conventional to end a movie like this with a spectacular shootout. I like the smaller scale scenes the best, the ones where Hines and Crystal were doing their stuff. Not Ebert's best review.
No.
But sounds like he liked it. Not as much as you, but he also liked it.
Well, what else you know? He's dead.
Right? Fuck that guy. He's dead.
All right. So furniture.
Furniture.
I go to Duncan Bright today because I got an email from them saying, "Hey, it's the Irish bargain party. Oh, Duncan O'Bright. Oh, Duncan O'Bright." We all heard the commercials growing up. And, now that I have a card there and we buy our furniture there, I was like, I almost have our bed paid off. So I'm like, let's go in there because we've been thinking about getting an entertainment center. And I found one on their website I liked. But I thought, hey, maybe if we go during the biggest sale of the year, we'll get a better deal on it, right? So we're looking at this like big entertainment center because I want my consoles out in the air so they can breathe and things like that. First of all, we get there, they have like no entertainment centers on the floor. That's okay. I didn't think they'd have exactly the one I wanted, in the showroom, but I thought they'd have some. So I ended up going up to the lady who sold us some of our stuff. Her name's Catherine, I believe. I'm like, "Hey, Catherine." She's like, "Hi, who are you?" Okay, "I'm here to be your easiest sale of the day." Like, I want an entertainment center. I know about which one I want. So we go back and sit down, and she's trying to figure out how to use her computer because she's not very tech savvy, clearly. And it takes us quite a while to figure it out. Well, we finally find, the one we're looking for. There's no extra discount, which was super disappointing. It's the same price as if I ordered it, later on. But due to COVID, delivery isn't happening until fucking July.
Wow.
Yeah, July. But you know what? Yesterday it was May 31st. Now it's July 27th. So I'm like, you know what? We better get in line for this. Whatever. So we close the deal. She sends me up to the cashier. I go up there. I got my Duncan Bright card and everything. And we're standing here, and this kid, it's like he's scared. It's like it's for his first day. He keeps going over out of view and talking to someone. "Hey, how do I do this? How do I do that?" Okay, that's fine. He was taking a long time, but he wasn't saying anything. He was not communicating to us at all. So it was really awkward. Meanwhile, people are buying shit behind us. Their salespeople are they have a card terminal outside of this booth as well. And their salespeople are like running it all for them. Ours didn't. Ours like, "Okay, here you go." And maybe she had an appointment or something. I don't know. But, so we got stuck with the, Mr. Bean over here. And they're like handing people, they have this wall of gifts and stuff, and they're handing people bottles of wine and all this stuff. "Hey, what do you want? Pick something out," part of their party. We got nothing from our salesperson. So, my wife is standing there. She's like, "Why aren't they giving us stuff? We came here for the Irish bargain party. What's going on?" I'm like, "Well, hold on. We technically haven't bought anything yet. Let's wait till we run the credit card. Let's see what happens." And she says it like 3 more times. Finally, he gets done. He's like, "Here you go." I'm like, "All right. I don't know if you heard my wife talking, but, we're wondering where the party is. Everyone else is getting gifts. What's going on?" He's like, "Okay, well, come over here and you can pick something out." So we get over there. And I'm like, "All right, hon, pick something out." She's like, "I don't know what to get." I'm like, "For fuck's sake, this was your idea. You made me ask the guy, pick something out." And I'm like, "Okay, get a bottle of wine for your mother, for her birthday." "Well, no, she said she has too many bottles and needs to drink them." I'm like, "Well, we could cook with it. I can't drink it anymore, but, still cook with it. I still have cooking wine in the house." She no bottle of wine, no this. After some hemming and hawing and all this stuff, she grabs a fucking little box of shortbread cookies, Irish shortbread cookies, all of that for a box of cookies, and they sucked.
Of course they did.
But I'm just like, man, this is just so strange. But you know what? I mean, I have a credit line with them, so I'm going to keep buying stuff from them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're always nice and stuff, but it's just, it was just a weird experience. I'm like, here I am, coming back for the fourth time now buying something. And, it didn't really feel the love that much.
Didn't you like show them your white privilege card?
I forgot to. I thought this was my white privilege card right here.
I mean, there's a lot of white showing in there these days, but
Oh, there's that too.
I don't have any room to talk.
I was just more talking about the beard.
I know. I got you. That yeah. All right. Before we go into break, Corbs, I want to point something out to you.
Don't point it at me.
No. I think it needs to be addressed.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Who did I piss off?
No, it's the other way around. Actually, you should be pissed off.
Who did I piss off?
So I don't know if you know of this podcast group in town called Billionaire Studios.
No.
Hugh and I have met them. They were interesting fellas. They do a thing similar to us. They have their own studio. They have multiple shows. It's just so happens that 2 weeks ago they announced they're launching a brand new show called Too Drunk for Radio. And here's the part where you should be angry. Their whole shtick for that show is classic movie reviews.
Yeah, fuckers.
Like I said, 2 weeks ago that they announced this. And you want to take a guess at what movie they started off with two weeks ago?
Running Scared?
Roadhouse. The same week we did Roadhouse.
Douchebags. Don't let me find.
I'm not saying they're biting off our shit.
Oh no, they're definitely biting.
But I'm saying they're biting off our shit.
I'll say it.
I really think they listen to
off my
us.
shit.
Okay, I was gonna say he runs a sign business, and he's from what I see on Facebook, the guy works his ass off. I cannot imagine he's been going, okay, here's our chance to steal from Geek Pod.
Right. And no, I this is firmly tongue in cheek. Now, everything I said is true. They do have a new show called Too Drunk for Radio, and they did start with Roadhouse the same week we did it. But I think it's a huge coincidence. And we met those guys. They were cool. They were a lot of fun. We were discussing working with them at that point, and shit just didn't work out. But
it was too expensive, is what it was.
Well, is what it comes down to. And then, I mean, now they're in no position. That's the COVID has hurt them a lot.
Oh yeah.
And it's unfortunate because you don't want to see bad shit happen to good people.
Yeah.
But no, I found it funny, and I thought it would be like a good bit to say that they're biting our shit. But I should probably text John and tell him we did that.
But you know what? He bitches about being single all the time. He might be willing to bite your shit if you're up for it.
There's that. And that is trimmed up nice. I know he likes that. So. All right, guys.
What?
All right. Stay tuned. We're going to hop back into break, and then we're going to come back and discuss a few other things.
Stop.
The 4th annual Sci-Fi Horror Fest is coming with an all-new location, new celebrity guests, and more to enjoy. Sci-Fi Horror Fest has a new home for 2021 at the Vernon Downs Casino and Hotel in Vernon, New York. Sci-Fi Horror Fest will be held on August 27th and 28th. Sci-Fi Horror Fest is a family-friendly event featuring exciting guests including CJ Graham and Loren Malloy, as well as fun activities, vendors, and a media area with an eclectic group of podcast personalities. More guest announcements will be announced soon. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to www.sci-fihorrorfest.com. That's www.sci-fihorrorfest.com. Sci-Fi Horror Fest is currently looking for volunteers. This is your chance to be part of the fun. Please note, dates and details of the event are subject to change due to any lasting issues due to COVID-19.
And we are back now. Paul, I wanted to ask you something. I saw something on Twitter earlier that kind of had me worried. Would you mind explaining that or talking a bit about it?
Yes. What you're referencing is that I tweeted out late morning, early afternoon that 43 years I've been living a lie. Got some news today that completely shook up my world as I've known it. So Christmas time, one of my main gifts was an ancestry kit. So I did the cheek swab, the spit, and all that stuff, sent it out, and we've been waiting. And my results came in today, and I've proudly proclaimed for years, and I always refer to myself as an Irish kid. I can no longer really make that claim.
Really?
My ethnicity estimates came back, and I do have a little bit of Irish in me. Not as much as enough to claim myself as an Irish kid. This is what I got from it. Okay, I've got it up on my phone right now. I would hold it up to the screen, but we see what happens when it does that. It washes out. Maybe I'll take a picture. I'll post it with the show notes. I'm going to go from my highest percentage to my lowest percentage. I'm made up of 5 different nationalities. Number 1 at 42% is Scottish.
Ooh.
Number 2, 27% is England and Northwestern Europe. Number 3 at 17% is Irish. Number 4, in light of recent hobbies, I'm pretty happy about it. 10%. I'm from Norway, so I'm 10% Viking. And finally, at 4% is Wales.
Wow. I totally thought you were going to say it said I'm 100% that bitch. I was waiting for the punchline.
Sorry, no. The big punchline was when I was explaining this to Kristen earlier, and I'm rattling all of these off, and I said, "Now, what did we learn from this?" And she's puzzled by it. I said, "What we learned is it's definite that I am 100% white kid. Like there is all white as white can be." So I just thought it was.
You're only missing like German in there
and you know what? That could be the Northwestern Europe.
Oh yeah, it could be.
So yeah, I am. And then I was trying to explain to the kids at lunch, what this all means, and they were all very confused. And so they said, "So does that mean I'm not Irish at all?" I'm like, "No, you have the percentages like this." And that was the kid that's good at math.
Man, so this is going to be a very sad St. Patrick's Day for you this year, isn't it?
Yes, I have to go out and get a kilt instead. Now I guess I'm gonna just try and embrace my Scottish heritage instead. I don't know if you guys have seen this stuff on Facebook where for $40 you can go get a 1 foot by 1 foot square, and I can become a Scottish laird, and I feel okay with that now. And if I really do this, I think I may have to have all of you refer to me as Lord from then on. It's
the
legal.
problem, it's legal, except for the fact that you're not able to actually hold that kind of you can't hold a royal title in another country as an American citizen.
I didn't think you could. It's a novelty thing.
It is a novelty thing. If you went there and tried to camp out on that 1 foot by 1 foot, they'd be like, "Yeah, it's over there," and there's like fucking like a forest or something.
That's exactly. If you read up on that, that's what it is. Is they say they have their 1 foot squares, and they plant a tree on that to preserve the land for you.
Now I wonder if you could climb up that tree and build a tree house.
Right, a tiny little tree house, because it's going to be overlapping on other people's shit.
Yeah, but it's in the air; it doesn't count.
Oh, good point. But. It's funny though, because they were running a sale around Christmas on that, and it was a buy one get one free for those. I thought real hard. I almost bought us all plots of land so we all could have been lords. I almost did it, and then I remembered I would have gotten killed for wasting money like that. So yeah, that's what that tweet was in reference to. Obviously, I wasn't really upset. It was tongue firmly in cheek, and I was giggling the whole time I wrote the tweet. But,
Though, that would have given you like 8 square feet. You could have like put a bathroom on it or
right.
something.
We could have had our own royal outhouse or something.
Yeah.
Rail shitter.
It's better. Can I use that as a title? And you know what? That leads into the one last thing that I wanted to ask you guys about.
Taking a royal shit?
Kind of.
Okay.
We all have significant others.
Yes.
And this is going to be uncomfortable, especially Corb, since yours listens to the show.
Are you sure, Paul? Because, nothing really bothers me.
Okay. That's more pointed at Corb's again, because Kelly listens to the show. I think it's her first shout out by anybody other than you. Hi, Kelly.
There you go.
So is it a thing with women who are afraid to use the bathroom in public?
Is it a thing?
Yeah. Like, as a dude, I have no problem walking into a public bathroom and just blowing that shit up, whether someone's in there or not.
My wife doesn't like to shit if there's other people in there. So, like, if she's like having a loud shit and someone walks in, she'll try to quiet it down until they leave. So, I mean, they are a little weird about that. But I mean, if she's got to go, she's going to go.
Yeah.
Is this a discussion you guys have had too? Look at that. That worked out. I'm actually pointing at Corbs too when I'm talking to him. Have you guys had this discussion, or have you guys not been together long enough to talk about?
We had a discussion about taking a shit in public?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a discussion you don't have.
No, you do eventually. Trust me. We're telling you do. Yeah, because that exact thing that you just described, Hugh, is what the discussion was about. And I'm looking at her like she's fucking crazy. I'm like, no, I don't care. Someone can be sitting right next to me, and I will decimate that bathroom. I don't mind. Like, I will actually laugh, like, if it's super loud.
You remember what happened in Buffalo, right? Remember, I went down that morning. We're on the convention floor. I went and I took like a loud shit, and the guy next to me said like "good one" or something like that.
Yes, I
they were
forgot
cheering
about that.
me on. You know?
Yeah. So
It's fucking Austin Powers.
It just astounded me, and I threatened that I was going to bring this up on the show. I think she thought I was joking, but I don't understand it. Like, that's what that room's express purpose is for.
Yeah, but you have to think about where she's coming from too. I mean, women have a different way of looking at themselves than we do. Okay, I think that has to be taken into account. I mean, just like my wife will use the bathroom, but she doesn't like to do it if there's anyone else there.
That's
because,
right.
It's I don't know. I mean, it's we laugh at farts, they don't.
Okay. Good
Generally, point. I mean, I think that's what it really comes down to. They don't laugh at farts like we do.
And that's just a shame.
Farts?
Everyone should.
Well, I understand why she doesn't laugh at my farts. They're awful, and they like cling to things. She can fart, and if it smells bad, it's like, oh, that's awful. And 3 seconds later, it's gone. I fart, and like half an hour later, the room still smells like I shit the walls. And I don't know what it is.
All right. Well, I mean, that clears it up. I mean,
nothing clears it up. Trust me.
No, I feel you. Yeah. I mean, the question at hand, that was just, I find it very odd, and I actually remembered to write it down, so we can actually discuss it.
Your wife doesn't like to poop in public?
I mean, when you boil it down like that, I mean, yeah, but I wanted to ask you guys about it to see if it was the same situation, and Hugh is confirming it for me. So,
but remember, Paul, you can't use "make the poops" as the title because you already did that years ago.
You're right, I did. God, and we can't start like rehashing shit until at least episode 100. So,
not even then.
You rehash shit,
dude. This show is nothing but rehashing shit. Who are you kidding?
And that's what we do. That was what the basis was early on. We said that. All right. Well, that's all I've got other than talking about WandaVision, Disney Plus issues notwithstanding.
Yeah. I cannot get onto Disney Plus to save my life right now. Now, in light of that, I did illegally download it because, I do have an actual Disney Plus account that I
Mhm.
can't currently use right now, and that's not my fault. I don't personally feel there's a problem that if you actually pay for the service and it stops working, and it's not like you didn't pay your bill, your internet's down if you go find another source for it. If we weren't doing this show tonight, I wouldn't have. But if anybody has a problem with that, go fuck yourself. Sorry.
That's fair.
I tried to do it legitimately. There's nothing else I can do.
Right. What'd you think?
Not as strong as other episodes.
Was that based off of like Modern Family?
Yes.
Okay. That's
Yes.
what I thought it was. Like when they're doing like the interviews and
Oh, I figured it was like Parks and Rec or something, or The Office. Weren't those comedies that did have like
The
somebody was
Office
in there
did that
filming
too. Yeah, I know that. I don't know about Parks and Rec. I've never seen that. But no, they said when they put the trailer out for this specific episode yesterday or whatever that they were riffing on Modern Family. And that's the only reason I know it, because I've also never seen that show.
yeah, right.
And so we got our answer for who the big bad is, huh?
You know what? Every single week they've layered on more mystery while still revealing things, and it's all been exciting. And this was like, what, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, there was no showing newly shot scenes with her doing things is not foreshadowing. They did not foreshadow this. I did not see anything about her that seemed like, she was the big bad. And I don't even know who the fuck she is. Is that a character from the comics?
Yes. Back from the 70s. She was also, I believe she trained Wanda. She helped her out. I know she was the nanny for the kids, but she is old magic in the Marvel universe. Insanely powerful.
I feel like they didn't earn that reveal because it meant nothing to me.
Right. And that's just it, is if you're not heavily versed in Marvel lore, like that passed everybody. And you know what? When they introduced her as Agnes at the beginning, it crossed my mind, but then they just completely played her off as the goofy, like quirky neighbor. Like you said, like up until this episode, they never give you any kind of indication that there's anything wonky with her.
Yeah, and I feel like that's lazy writing, that kind of a reveal.
And we've got one episode of this left, right? Like, isn't it? So they've got a lot to wrap up next week, and the woman that plays Monica said that it's a very sad, very emotional episode next week. So I have a feeling, figuratively and literally, walls are coming down next week. I just wonder if they're going to go with the twins where they went with them in the comics initially.
And I'm wondering if Vision's going to survive this.
I don't know. I'd like to see him come out of it so they can use him again in the movies, because I mean, he really didn't get a great arc in the movies.
No,
it was way too abbreviated. I'd like to see them, and I'm wondering, because of what we saw in this episode with Monica, where we're springboarding her into Photon. So the hex caused that. That's what we're insinuating. That's what gave her powers. So what's to say that they don't come back out of this alive, Pietro and Vision. Yeah. I mean, they kind of, at least Pietro. I mean, what's the sense of bringing Evan Peters in for a couple of episodes as Pietro?
I was totally hoping he was going to end up being Mephisto. That would have been better.
That would have been cool too, because that's been rumored all along.
Yeah, and it would have led into a Multiverse of Madness. It also would have been a great cover to take care of, Spider-Man's secret identity problem going into the next movie. I mean, yeah, you'd be doing it, minus the marriage and all that, but they could totally do some kind of skewed Brand New Day thing with that. I mean, it's a little dark, that deals with the devil and all that, but I really thought that's where they were going to go with it.
Well, we're not done yet. We never know. I mean, maybe Harkness is the minor big bad. You know what I mean? We get a lot of this tiered systems with the villains.
Even more convoluted,
especially with no build up, which is what we're going into next week.
At least you had build up with the Pietro thing, because he seemed to know shit he shouldn't know.
Right.
He seemed like he wasn't part of the hex, but yeah, mean, it was a good episode up until that point, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And really, at the end of every episode, Avery's like, "Ah, I want to watch the next one." At the end of this one, everyone was just like, "What?"
Yeah.
The whole
was,
family.
And then it was, oh, that's right. We have to wait for the mid-credit scene. So.
Was there a mid-credit scene this week?
Yes, Disney came out this morning and said, "Watch through the credits." Yes,
I didn't because there hasn't been a mid-credits scene.
Nope. And I think that's why Disney came out and said it. You guys didn't know.
What was the mid-credit scene?
Well, Monica's still looking around, and she opens up storm cellar doors, and she looks in and sees that weird ass basement torture chamber thing, and you're looking over her shoulder, looking into it, and it comes around, and somebody walks up behind her, and it's Evan Peters wearing this ridiculous fucking head wrap thing, and he says, "Snooper's gonna snoop," and that's how it ends. So those two are together right now. We don't know if he's gonna be an asshole or if he's gonna work with her to save Wanda. We don't know what the story is. And I was questioning all the episode where he went. Like, I figured she banished him out. So
it was one of that too, like where he was. And is it the fact that everything is changing and it's like not staying still? Does that just mean that she's like falling deeper into like depression or whatever, or wherever she is? Or
and you know what, the ad in the middle of it points to that, talking about the reality. I think there's cracks in reality. She's slipping. She is falling apart. And plus, I think Agatha Harkness is fucking with her too, because like they said, everything that went wrong is because of her doing. So I think she's asserting dominance on this as well. But we got a lot of stuff we have to answer next week. And I mean, this one, you kind of have to tie this up if it's going to springboard into one of the next big movies.
Yeah.
And possibly two of the next big movies, because they've already said that Doctor Strange shows up in Spider-Man 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot to tie up there. This is touching a lot of stuff.
You would definitely be the authority on that.
Touching stuff? Yes.
Yeah.
Touching lots of
stuff. You know, it's funny because Avery loves WandaVision, even though she hated it to begin with because it was so weird. She wants to watch Endgame. She just keeps saying, "I want to watch Endgame." I think it's because there have been, crossovers in fucking Fortnite and all that bullshit.
Right.
She has no idea. She won't sit down and watch those movies. If I'm like, "You want to watch Endgame?" You have to watch every single movie before.
Right. The build up.
So we've been making. We finally got through phase 1 tonight after WandaVision. It's been tough because she fights us on every movie. She stops, has to get up 10 million times, has a hard time paying attention. We should have been on to like halfway through phase 2 now, but we had to watch Avengers in 2 parts.
I believe it. Yeah, it's hard. First of all, those are long movies, and with kids, especially with attention issues. Yeah. Like Kylie's awful. The same idea, like just a fountain of questions through the whole thing. And
well, half of the questions she has would be answered if she stopped looking away from the TV, because she asked questions about things that happened while she wasn't looking.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, "Oh, I want more Tony. I want to watch Iron Man 3." Though I had to fight her to get her to watch Iron Man 2 because she didn't want to watch any Iron Mans. Now she loves it. It's just we go back and forth. Do I have to watch Guardians? Blah, blah. It's funny though, because it's going to lead. I know that this is going to lead to sadness for her at some point. Also, man, watching Avengers today, watching the Battle for New York for the first time in I don't know how many years, just remembering what it was like in theaters, seeing that, saying, Avery, you got to look. When he goes, "My secret is I'm always angry." I mean, all of those great moments.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to recall Hulk punching Loki though at some point, just like he punched Thor.
No, he picked him up and he slammed him around.
Yeah, I'm misremembering that. I thought he punched him again, after they caught him.
No, not that I remember.
Was that a deleted scene or something?
It could have been. I don't know.
But yeah, wow, such a good movie. Made by an asshole apparently, but such a good movie.
Wait, what? Oh yes. I got you now.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah, we could fill a show on that.
Assholes in Hollywood?
The specific one we're talking about. Anything else we need to wrap up, guys?
Good.
No?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, then how about I just drop some wisdom nuggets?
Drop your nuggets.
Because I am smoking hot is not the correct answer when a police officer asks, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Good night, everybody, and megabyte me, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.